If you're not serious, then you're not serious. You should have just said that from the get-go. One, I learned this a long time ago. I've been podcasting since 2016. If you want to achieve something, you gotta keep going, either about their business or not. When you start dealing with people in large number of quantities, they all do the same thing. Welcome back to the Bankedoutt Radio Show. You know, we're going to keep it 100 here. Music and business talk. Today's episode is going to be a little bit different. We had a guest on the books, but life happened, things shifted, and it's an empty seat today. But here's the thing. The mic is still hot. Yes, it is. In business, you don't always get to shut down the factory just because one delivery is late. You pivot. Today, we're going to talk about how to handle the silent phase of business while protecting your brand integrity is your number one job. Time is the only asset you cannot buy back. Reality is that if your business partner doesn't value your 11 a.m., they won't value your 4 p.m. Either when, the schedule slips, don't chase. You put the ball back in their court. Now, I've had plenty of times where I've had different guests scheduled, and due to a myriad of things, I always put the ball back in their court. One, I learned this a long time ago. I've been podcasting since 2016.
A flyer tells me your price. An interview, it tells me your purpose. In the world of AI graphics and posting ghost marketing, people are starving for something real. You can post a flyer every day, but a static image can share your why. It can't show your struggle. It definitely can't capture the passion that it took you to start your business. When you sit down with me with Bankedoutt Radio Show, we humanize your brand. We let your voice, your smile, and your expertise do all of the selling. That's how we turn a follower into a client who trusts you with their money and their time. I am currently opening up the calendar for the summer highlight video features. I only take a certain number of video brands per month to make sure you get that 10-year professional touch. If you're ready to stop being a hidden gem and you want to be an industry leader, reach out to me now.
So over the course, and here it is, May 22nd, 2026, it has been 10 plus years, 10 years and February to May, February, March, April, May, 4 months. So 10 years and a quarter of a year. So 10.25 years. And, no, hold on, 36, no, that's more. May, February, I did the math on that wrong. It's 3 months to a quarter. So a quarter and then a month. So yeah, I learned a long time ago that, you're running a business and you don't want to sit there and make things personal. So you have to take yourself out of it. You don't have to, get in your feelings about things when things don't go your way. Just take the time to pivot and do something else. Like I used to have a list. I ain't even gonna lie. I used to have a list of guests that, granted, I want to put this in perspective. I had a list of guests that I will not interview, meaning that I gave them an opportunity. And the reason I won't interview them is because they were no call, no show. Most of the time when I have a guest, I have myriad ways to be able to contact them. I like using text because it's direct to someone's phone. Sometimes, email, but for the most part, I like to use text and text all my different guests when I bring them on, whether it be in person or if it's through virtual. And what year was this? I would say it was around 2019, 2020, something like that. I started just getting cancellations because people just didn't care to respond, or maybe they just forgot. Now, I look at it, from a business perspective, I'm looking at it like, look, I'm giving you free promo for your business. I took the time out to do a lot of things to research you, and researching someone it's gotten better over the years as far as the different tools that you can use, but it still takes hours. And then you want to come up with a good concept for that show. You want to have some thought-provoking questions. You want to be able to, give the audience that value. So that takes time, preparation. And then I also used to have my graphic designer where she would do all my flyers. And I paid for some flyers that I didn't even get to use because the guests didn't show up. And that was a waste of money. So I'm wasting time, I'm wasting money. I'm doing promo in anticipation of the episode to let people know they're not showing up. And this is when I was doing stuff live, pre-recorded. And then I started pre-recording stuff. So I pivoted. throughout a lot. And I'm just trying to, get everyone, I want you to be aware. You can pivot in all different directions. One, my operation system of doing things. When I was doing live shows, I pivoted because I had too many cancellations due to whatever reasons. And at the end of the day, I am providing a platform where people are going to watch, and they do watch, and they will seek out these people because in the past, I've always asked the people that came on, especially with business, how coming on the platform affected their business. And there were situations where they were getting sales before they even left the building. When I was doing it in person, I knew the impact that I had created because I've done so much work over the years. So I know that the platform draws attention. It also makes that person to their own personal network or business network or professional network. It validates what they're doing. I had people who would come onto my platform because other people wouldn't support them. When they came onto the platform, they started supporting them. And that has been the case multiple times over. Proof of concept is there multiple times over. So when I'm spending this money, I'm doing the research, I got the building, I have all these different overhead costs I have to take in consideration. Although let me switch this process to where I could just go straight and do pre-recording. At least if you cancel on that particular day, I can pivot and do other things with my time instead of trying to do a live show where my guest doesn't come up. Now I got to scramble and do a show. And I've done that a few times, but I'm like, I can freestyle some stuff, but at the same time, I like to present the information that I want to present because that was part of the original agreement and planning the whole reason for that time slot and that energy being put towards that. So I started, the list, and I started putting people on this list that I would keep in my file. That I'm like, I'm not going to interview them. And those people I have not interviewed because they didn't have respect. And my thing is, at the end of the day, people can look at your platform and judge it however they want to, right? I've never looked at someone's platform, no matter how big or small, and be like, you know what, it's not big enough for my time or whatever. The fact that someone takes the time out their day and they put resources and energy into something to highlight you, and it's all about you, then I think you deserve to give that person respect. You wouldn't just show up at your job whenever. If you're a business and you're servicing customers, you're not just going to show up whatever time. So just because, you haven't put in your brain that, what I'm saying, you don't know the value of this doesn't mean that it doesn't have value. And you can't just assume that you can't respect people's time because you give attention to detail to other things and other aspects in your life that you want to. So I've always looked at it like this. At the end of the day, people don't have to build a platform and they don't have to put you on, and you can still grind, especially when it comes to businesses and people who want to make money off their craft, right? You can still do it all yourself. No one has to help you. So the fact that other people want to help you put your vision out there so other people can become aware of you, I'm like, it's just a respect thing at the end of the day. So I learned that. And I learned that, I was going through the situation where I'm talking to different people and I'm getting all these different real-time feedback. I was like, you know what? I don't need to accept this responsibility. So I started putting the ball back into their court, which means that if someone cancels on me, first of all, I start reaching out. I'm not going to pretty much tell how it's going to go, especially when I'm meeting new people for the first time. I've had interviews that I've set up here in the last couple of weeks where they were supposed to come in person and didn't even show. And we had talked all week long about them showing up at a particular time, place, and then they hit you with before an hour and a half. Oh, I'm not going to be able to make it. I got this and that. I'm like, okay, whatever. You know what? If you're not serious, then you're not serious. You should have just said that from the get-go, especially when you are soliciting for people to come to you as far as to bring you the content and they provide a space for you to come. And all you got to do is show up, record, and do your thing. But that's a whole nother story, like a whole nother thing we'll get into as far as how you build your platform consistently and build your audience. And then, you got people who just like, I've had times where I text people an hour before, no response. 30 minutes before, no response. I was like, okay, this is going to be a no show. People, when you start dealing with people in large number of quantities, they all do the same thing. They're either about their business or they're not. Those are the two sides of the spectrum that they follow. And some people look at stuff like, what, this is going to be my opportunity. And some people look at it like, they let life control them instead of them controlling life. And yes, emergencies do happen, but I've had to reschedule on people, right? But I've always told people in advance, even when I've had to do stuff like 30 minutes before, I apologize to them and I send them a link like, hey, you can go ahead and reschedule. Because I learned how to be more efficient with that. I give them the opportunity to be able to, okay, cool. And I try not to, I have not canceled on people multiple times in a row and stuff like that. And like I said, things happen, but at the end of the day, you prioritize what you want to do. Either you're going to control your life or your life is going to control you. And when you reach out to people multiple times throughout the week or a day, whatever the case may be, you start to get a feeling for, okay, how this person operates. So, you just have to pivot. So, and that's what we're doing today, talking about, pivot. Because that's what I had to do. The work still has to be done. You got to protect your credibility. You got to let the, content speak for itself. You got to keep moving, like it's a grind up here. So if you want to achieve something, you got to keep going. And that's what I did today, learning how to pivot. And it's okay to pivot. There's nothing wrong with that. You learn how to have a backup plan. And you know what? Instead of like, I'm so tired of these guests, blah, 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 whatever. I'm going to just pivot because I was thinking about doing solo episodes anyway, because there's a lot of stuff out there that I think that should be covered that's not being covered. And I can do it, go ahead, knock it out, get a little quick edit on it, put it out there and keep this train moving. And I want to, just dive in a little bit about, the different styles of podcasting where, you do your solo episodes, you end up building your audience. Then you do your interview style. You have your interview style where, you rely on guests, and not all guests are created equal as far as like the way that they handle business on their end. And then you have your, your group or your duo podcast where you're talking about, various subject matter as a group and discussing, whether it be 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. It could be like the Joe Budden podcast. It could be like, a duo. I'm trying to think of who's a good duo right now in the space of podcasts. There's a lot of people out there. I just can't think of them right now. I've been doing so much stuff, research, all that, editing videos, shooting other additional type of content for various things that I have. This, Bankedoutt Ballot, Cooking Cat, Hemco, 31 Savage, building up Bankedoutt Radio Show, Facebook page even more, where I hit 60-something thousand views already within the last month, 28 days, something like that. Building, a sense of community. And finding, stories that need to be told. Finding small business owners and creatives and those type of individuals who I like to talk to and get their story in the area, in the metro Atlanta area, metro market. So there's more stories out here that have not been told, and just staying consistent, because overall I want to build this media empire. And the only way it's going to be built is by me putting in the reps like I constantly do and continuously do, accuracy and precision, working, having this synergy, and then, making the necessary moves to put other people on and bring other people on board. And going through that process as well, because I've been through it with other organizations. But yeah, so, I guess that's still going to be dropping, interviews with other people. Still have some I need to edit that I am editing over the next couple of weeks. And I have some more solo stuff that I'm going to plan as well. That way I could just, put out some more diverse content and, still put out the things that I'm putting out regularly with music and business talk. And then also the Bankedoutt Ballot, 6 episodes up now. Y'all can go check those out. If you're into the political space and finding more political candidates and elected officials, talk to, getting their perspective. I love talking to people. It's become a passion. So just doing that. And then I have other type of content I want to do as well. So thank y'all always for tuning in, supporting. Make sure you are sharing this. You are subscribed to YouTube, Facebook page if you want to. I do have the Bankedoutt Vault, so if you want to join that, because I'm doing exclusives in there, you can do that. And then you can follow my regular page, Raul Cook, and see all the different things that I'm doing. But thank you for everyone who's always supported. I love it. The audience, y'all are stretched all over the place. Y'all are all over the world, which is amazing to know the type of impact that you can have where people want to check out your content. So that means the world. And then if y'all always want to support, you can always support the ones who want to get into podcasting. Y'all know I wrote the podcast playbook. It's out there. I'll put the link. And then if you want to donate and do the Buy Me a Coffee, you can do the Buy Me a Coffee link and donate. And if you want a Cash App and stuff like that, just hit me up in the inbox. I've seen the Cash App handle. And you can do that as well. PayPal. Bankedoutt marketing at gmail.com. And yeah, I really appreciate it. But yeah, just remember that no matter what happens, you can always pivot. Pivoting is a great skill set to have.